Everyone, this is March 17th, and for anybody who wants to see a bit of green, just look at Hillary's picture and you'll see it right there. We are having people from the admissions office talk to us today for Tech Spotlight, and this is going to be recorded and put on our YouTube channel, as well as put onto the Peer Mentor group channels to help new students or prospective students be able to understand a little bit about New Mexico Tech and hopefully want to come here. So we have Hillary Pineda and we got Jered Cervantes, and I hope that this will be a fun time because these two people are fun and they enjoy doing what they do at Tech in encouraging people to come. So Hillary, why don't you rock and roll?
Awesome. Let me share my screen and we will get started.
Okay. See the green behind her? Boy, I tell you. All right.
All right, everyone. How are you? I wish we could all meet you in person, but definitely glad we can connect with you virtually. My name is Hillary Pineda. I am the Associate Director of Admission for New Mexico Tech. I also am in charge of recruiting students out of state in the Albuquerque area, surrounding areas, Rio Rancho, all the way down to Belen, out to East Mountains as well. And I would like to introduce my colleague, Jered.
Good.
Hi, my name is Jered Cervantes. So I am an admission advisor here at New Mexico Tech. I also do some out-of-state recruiting as well as pretty much all of northern New Mexico, with the exception of the few areas that Hillary mentioned that she covers. Not only am I an employee for Tech, but also I am an alum. So I graduated back in December of 2015 with my biology degree. So you might hear me talk a little bit about my experience as a student as well.
Wonderful. Go ahead, Hillary.
All right. So we are going to get started with a quick presentation, just mainly about New Mexico Tech and what you need for admission. So at New Mexico Tech, we are definitely proud of our rankings. We're ranked #1 best college in New Mexico for academics and best value, ranked #1 for best bachelor programs for engineering and physics. We're ranked #4 for best Hispanic serving university in America. We're always ranked in the top 1% nationally for some of our science programs and engineering. But for a whole list of accolades and more rankings, you can definitely check that out on our website if you're interested in that. Some history and facts about New Mexico Tech. We were founded in 1889 as New Mexico School of Mines. We changed our name in 1951 to New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology. That is still our official name today, but we go by New Mexico Tech for short. So we've been around a very, very long time. We offer associates, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in science and engineering. Fun fact about New Mexico Tech, 98% of our full-time faculty have their PhD. So they're really well educated and you're really learning from the best. We're located in Socorro, so an easy 1-hour drive down from Albuquerque if you're looking for that big city life, or it's 1 hour away. And we're along the Rio Grande Valley, so kind of a hidden oasis, nice and green in the middle of the desert. And then if you're interested in mountain biking, hiking, that's only about 10 miles north and 10 miles south. We have some great canyons that you can definitely utilize there. Some admission requirements. We do require a 2.5 GPA, a 21 on the ACT, or a 1070 on the SAT. If you are a senior this year, we are test optional, so we are not requiring the ACT or SAT scores. We have not made a decision on fall 2022, but we are hoping that maybe we will be test optional for admission at least. And also, if you are a transfer student, we do require a 2.0 GPA, 30 plus credit hours, and you have to at least place into a math 1240, which is pre-calculus. We also honor dual credit, AP credit, and IB credit. So if you're taking advantage of any of those, you can definitely talk to us and we can let you know what directly transfers over to New Mexico Tech. We are a small university, so a little under 1,700 degree seeking students. Undergrad students is a little over 1,200. Graduate students is around 450. Student faculty ratio is 12-1. So you really get to know your peers in your department really well as the faculty will know you on a first name basis. That is also great when you're asking for recommendation letters because they are pretty personal and they know you really well. Average class size is 25 students. Our largest class is 60 students, and that is freshman chemistry. It can hold over 100, but a lot of our students are testing out with AP credit and dual credit. Our smallest class size would be 1, and that is some type of independent study with a professor, so working on some type of research. Research opportunities are abundant at New Mexico Tech. You can get a jump start into research as early as your freshman year, as long as you're proactive and talk to your department and talk to your professors and let them know that you're interested in working on some type of research. And our average lab class size is 12 students. And I am going to pass it on to Jered so he can tell you all about our programs that we have here at New Mexico Tech.
Thank you, Hillary. So this first slide just kind of covers our engineering programs, as well as if maybe you're not so much science or engineering oriented, there's also the management degrees that are listed on here as well. So we do have those. They do some awesome entrepreneur workshops. We have some maker spaces that they kind of manage around campus as well. But as you look at some of these, you'll see an asterisk next to some of these programs. And all that means is that's programs that offer an accelerated 5-year bachelor's and master's degree. So something that's a really great option to take advantage of if your degree that you're interested in has that. I believe you do have to apply for those separately around your junior year with us here at New Mexico Tech, individually through your department. But great things to have to offer. Some of the pictures here, I like talking about those. The bottom one, the drone there, we do have quite a lot of overlap between a lot of our departments. We're a very collaborative school. So the drone there, electrical engineering does a lot of things with drones, but again, a lot of overlap with mechanical engineering, some computer science, materials, things like that as well. The top right, that one is probably one of the more popular design projects on our campus. That is the mini Baja car that mechanical engineering builds every year. They take that out, do a big race against other schools. But it's really impressive. They build that every year from scratch, from the ground up. So it's a really cool project. Then there's the prosthetic hand there. Again, a big collaboration across a bunch of our departments. And they're actually building that for one of our staff members on campus. And it's actually, they're trying to make it work as close as possible to a regular human hand. So when she has it on, she can have the fingers move. They're trying to get it to where she can, pick things up, make the fingers move and everything as smoothly as possible. You can go to the next slide. And then here we have the arts and sciences. So again, I graduated with my biology degree. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Tech. I loved all my biology classes. On one of the previous slides, you had seen a picture of a couple of different sides of a horse. Those were actually some of my favorite classes. We have one of the town vets in Socorro, Dr. Wilkinson, who teaches classes just because he enjoys teaching, and those were always tons of fun. But the horse that was on those previous slides is one of actually his own personal horse. And every year for anatomy and physiology lab, he'll paint the skeleton on one side of the horse. The pictures in this presentation have the digestive system painted on it. I believe when I was a student, he had some of the muscle structures painted on it. And that was a really cool class. We got to spend class outside for a day. You got to see as the horse moved, you could see kind of the muscles and stuff like that highlighted moving. So that was something that really helped out with having to kind of memorize all those structures and things like that. There's another time he brought a live wild owl into class that had a broken wing that he had fixed, and he showed us how he fixed the wing and all of that. So really cool stuff. And that just kind of highlights a lot of the hands-on stuff that goes on all around Tech, not just in the biology department. But really cool stuff there. The biomedical program, I kind of like talking about that as well because it's pretty cool. So you can really pinpoint it down to a very specific interest that you have. So you pick one of the 3 science options listed there, one of the 5 or 4 engineering concentrations, take classes from both sides, and then bring them both together when you do your design project. So again, you can pick something really specific that you're interested in, and really bring it all together with that degree. And then physics, I kind of talk about that a little bit too. My time at Tech, I had the same roommate all the way through my full 4.5 years. He was an astrophysics and math double major. He got to do a lot of really awesome stuff in there. We do have an observatory on campus that those students get to use. We have the Magdalena Ridge Observatory that's about half an hour outside of town, that some of the students get to use sometimes as well for research and things like that. So really, really awesome resources. And again, kind of going to the small class sizes, some of his classes, I believe he said, were around like 5 or 6 students total in a class. So again, that's always really awesome, being able to get to know your professors really well in those kind of smaller classes. And then, just in case you're wondering kind of what it costs to attend New Mexico Tech, these are listed here. So tuition and fees are a little over $8,400 a year. Our room and board is a little over $8,600 a year. That's an average cost. So there's the possibility, depending on whatever dorm and meal plan you like to go with, that you could pay possibly less than that or possibly more than that as well. But on average, it's around $17,000 a year for New Mexico residents. If you're from out of state, the room and board is going to be the same, but tuition and fees are going to be just a little over $24,000. So that's going to bump your full year cost up to a little over $32,000 a year. We do have great financial aid to help you pay for this, though. We have scholarships that range from $2,000 to $6,000 a year that are strictly merit based. If you're a New Mexico resident, we do accept the lottery scholarship. You have the opportunity to receive that. If you're from out of state, we have some tuition reduction scholarships as well, where you some that you pay in-state tuition, some that you pay 150% of our in-state. So that pretty much cuts the out-of-state tuition and fees in half. So some great scholarship opportunities for that. We accept FAFSA, any outside scholarships, all of that as well. And we stack all of those things on top of each other. So it really helps with our students being able to afford attending New Mexico Tech, and really contributes to Tech students graduating with very minimal debt. And then just kind of some extra stuff. So we do have an events page that kind of lists all of the events that we host through the admissions office throughout the year. So there is the website for that. And then also there is both mine and Hillary's contact information. So if you have any questions or need help with anything at any time, you can always feel free to reach out to one of us, and we will always be more than happy to help you out.
Super. It's a lot of good information, and we've got it on record, so it's good because people can go back and forth to it if they wish. So I know one of the big things that's coming up for Tech, and I know it's still in its bit of an infancy, but I've been a part of the conversations at Council of Chairs and the Faculty Senate, where we're starting to create some Bachelor of Arts programs. And Tech is, of course, a STEM university, and is very tough in the sense that you come out of here, you really have quite a reputation with employers with the science side and the engineering side. But the BA is something that's going to be added, and I think they're starting it in fall of this year. So there's more information on that, but it is possible to get a Bachelor of Arts degree in a number of fields here as well now. And last night we were just going over a few of those. So I think it's important for people to realize there's many options to be involved in here. And And as both of you have said, Jered, you know, you're a graduate from here, you know what it's like. And Hillary, you've been here long enough to know how to talk to people about what is necessary. Um, I know that with our peer mentoring program, we try to talk to people about that too. So I just want to add that in there, that we do have a group of mentors. And also, since this is an OSL sponsored conversation, we have tutoring processes, and I do think we work very hard in trying to assist students, uh, and try to realize that sometimes you come from high school and you're really doing super fine in high school, and you come to tech, and all of a sudden the tech experience brings you up another level. It makes it so that indeed you're a researcher. You're a person who is able to work in a profession uh, by the time you get out of here. And people that talk to us about our degrees really are quite glowing about that we do a well-rounded program. So I'm wondering if Sarah or Katie or Sophie has any questions right now. If not, we'll try to lead on another direction or a different path here. But Sarah, Sophie, Katie, you got anything you want to ask?
I've
No
got a
questions
question.
yet, Sarah. Oh my goodness. Okay, who we got?
I've got a question. So I know a lot of students are sort of nervous about coming back, and some people, of course, are thinking about taking a semester off or gap years. So what would you say to those students who aren't sure whether or not they want to come to tech in the fall?
So we just opened up campus visits today, so for next week. So I would highly recommend um, to try to come to campus or reach out to different departments and see if you are comfortable. There is going to be, I know, some opportunities for students to take some online classes. So that might be an option if you feel unsafe to come to campus. But New Mexico Tech has done an excellent job of being extremely safe. I know, not only for the students, but staff and faculty. They've gone above and beyond just to make us feel safe. And with all the testing and different accommodations that they have, I really think the student should come to campus to see what it's like first before they make that decision whether or not to take a gap year off. Something also to think about, New Mexico Tech, we are a small university, so starting in the spring as a freshman might be a little bit difficult because some classes are offered fall and then spring semester, so you might have to wait out kind of like a year to take that prerequisite or a class.
So you might get delayed in the process.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Jered, I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
I think you hit pretty much all the points that I would bring up as well.
Since you mentioned COVID-19, okay, when you talk about tech and the work we've done here on keeping the campus safe as well as in the county, it's now been marked for 1 week that we are in the green, okay? Mm-hmm. In other words, there's a number of places in New Mexico and other places, of course, that are yellow, orange, or red in the color codes that are used by the government and CDC, things like that. We are in the green, and that's taken a lot of work, I think, in a lot of people's parts. But there is a seriousness to that in the sense that we do believe we work with each other to get to that green level and maintain it. One of the things that just opened up in town starting this weekend is the Loma Theaters. So, you think about it, I mean, it's been a year pretty much since we ran into COVID-19 questions that we've had to deal with very, very personally and very carefully. But there are things that are starting to open up here in Socorro that I don't think are open in other places. And so there is a good factor, I think, there for safety and for trying to make sure you're in a good position. Plus, we've not only had multiple testing sites to try to make sure that we could get to the green, but vaccinations for staff, and hopefully soon for students. We're working on that to try to be ahead of the curve. And so at least for that, as Hillary and Jered are talking about, this is, being in Socorro is a nice change from necessarily being in the middle of Albuquerque or
Mhm.
Las Cruces or whatever, when things are still pretty well shut down. So it's I think that's very much a positive for the Socorro community at large, because the community has been a part of that conversation as well. Hillary, I was going to ask you, we're starting the campus visits right now. How long do those last? They last pretty much through the summer sometime, don't they?
So
Or
we normally have them year round,
Yep,
but we did stop them due to COVID. So we had, and we're still going to continue our one-on-one virtual visits. We
right.
also do a virtual information session. So give our full-blown presentation on admissions, financial aid and housing and some other stuff in there. And then we also do a live virtual campus tour as well too. So those are once a month. We do have one-on-one virtual visits, which are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then we're going to host campus visits Monday through Friday, and it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you'll
Okay.
you'll get the admissions presentation, you will get a campus tour, and then you'll be able to check out some housing options as well. And eat
Super.
on campus, the most important part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jered, tell me how, and for you as a tech grad, how this all helps you out in talking to people. I would imagine you've got a really good understanding on programs as well as just activities.
Yeah, so definitely it's always nice being able to speak about anything firsthand. So being able to kind of talk about my own experiences with the classes, with student clubs, activities on campus, all of that, just being able to speak at this point from both. I've been a full-time employee with the admissions office for 5 years now. So being able to kind of speak from both the student and staff member perspective is definitely a really nice thing. I kind of always like to bring up the sense of community at Tech and all of that. And again, it's nice being able to speak from experience that there is carryover from both the student side and the staff side. Being able to see kind of that sense of community and everything. And it is always nice too, because a lot of students that come into Tech, like you said, has a reputation of being a little bit of a tougher school sometimes and things like that. And it's always nice being able to sympathize and speak with the students about any concerns they might have about that, because I was kind of a story we hear from a lot of students is the high school, they're the students that are able to kind of just cruise through and not have to really worry too much about studying or anything like that, having to work too hard. And then Tech kind of sometimes can knock you down a notch. And I was personally
Gives you a reality check.
Yeah, I was personally one of those students, but it's always really nice to be able to reassure students when they're worried about that with my own personal experience, saying, yeah, you know what, I was that student. I didn't have to worry. I got to Tech. It kind of, like you said, took me down a notch. But I started, going out. I can't remember for the life of me what the OSL was before the OSL.
But you knew you were needing it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But I had the experience of going to the tutoring center, going to department help rooms, asking my professors for help, asking questions in class, after hours, all that kind of stuff. So it is nice having that personal experience of going through all of that as well to kind of help, to kind of talk to students and help ease their concerns about that kind of stuff.
I was thinking about Professor Westfall when he does his little thing at the beginning of the year, where he basically says, "I got a way for you to get through this," and basically it's go to class, do your homework, and talk to your professor. Okay,
Mhm.
and if you need tutoring, the OSL's there. I mean, it seems simple, but really all those processes are important, and and they will build any student into a better student, a better learner, and able to take on whatever. So, Sophie and Sarah, either of you come up with any questions by any chance? Or Katie, you've got another one? Looking to see. There's Sarah.
Yeah, so hi. uh, what is the percentage, like, do you have numbers on like how many students from New Mexico, where do most of your students come from? Do they mostly come from the surrounding areas in the state, or in terms of undergrads? And
So what type of percentage you're asking?
yeah.
Hillary's got
The
something.
last time I just was looking at institutional research. So I believe it's over 80% of our students are New Mexico residents. And usually that is because of the lottery scholarship. A lot of New Mexico residents definitely take advantage of the lottery scholarship. And we also give New Mexico residents a one-time scholarship that's called Tech Tuition to help bridge the gap with the lottery, because you do have to earn the lottery scholarship by having 15 credit hours and then having a 2.5 GPA, and then the lottery kicks in the second semester. So a lot of our New Mexico students definitely take advantage of that, which is very good because it pretty much pays for about 65% of their tuition. And then the way that we stack our scholarships, like Jered mentioned earlier, a lot of our students will graduate with zero to little debt. And that even includes out-of-state students as well, because we now stack our tuition reduction scholarships on our merit-based scholarships. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities that students can take advantage of to get their tuition paid for. And
that stack up is important, I think.
It really is. And for out-of-state students, we are cheaper than usually a lot of schools in-state tuition. So we're definitely affordable. And for being a top nationally ranked science and engineering university, and how affordable we are, that's why we're usually ranked really high in the top 1% for best value.
Well, and the other part of best value, I think, for graduates, if President Wells, our president here, is letting us know. I mean, it's something like when you're crossing the dice to get your degree, it's over 85% of those people already have jobs. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is this place really does form you into your field. And it's all geared to that.
Yeah, and the great part about that is if you decide to go into industry right after you get your bachelor's, a lot of those companies and businesses will pay you to get your master's or above. So that's why we do have a high placement rate, is because a lot of students will go into industry, but they know that they're going to get their schooling, if they want to do master's or PhD programs, paid for. So it's really great. And it's a lot of our students, like you said, will have jobs before they even graduate, sometimes even before they go into their senior year, because they've been doing internships and working with different companies.
And that is something, I know you aren't immediately involved in that. It's usually Michael Vogel and his group with student affairs, but the career fair, for example, is really big, because there's a lot of students that are able to get paid internships for summertime or other times to be able to build into their professionalism, to do that. And the other side is I think if people haven't realized it yet, as a research facility type of university, there's a lot of opportunity for students even at freshman year to start doing research. And so it's very hands-on. I imagine, Jered, you probably had some hands-on experiences with getting your biology degree, and even though you're at admissions, okay, I understand, but you got to be able to be involved with things, right?
Yeah, definitely. So my experience was mostly through, my lab courses and things like that. I was certainly not always as outgoing as I am now. So I was kind of a student who kind of just hung back, kept my head down, did my work. So unfortunately, I kind of regret not taking more advantage of, those opportunities. but yeah, I mean, I had plenty of friends and everyone that took advantage of those. I have a friend who actually, she just got her PhD last night.
Oh, wow.
She just defended yesterday and got that. But yeah, she, was graduated same time as me. She actually did, or I guess she graduated a little later. She did her 5-year combined in biology, but she did research with the professors. She actually has some of her research. She has a little section at the Nuclear Museum in Albuquerque about radioactive bacteria and stuff that she did research on
Sure.
out on Laguna Pueblo, I believe it was. And yeah, just awesome stuff like that. I have my roommate. He actually was lucky enough, he got to feed his ego a little bit, and he got to choose between a job opportunity or grad school. And he interned with Los Alamos Labs every summer from between freshman sophomore year on, and they offered him a big contract when he graduated, or right before he graduated. But he ended up actually getting accepted, skipped masters, and went directly into UNM's PhD program for physics. So.
Well, it's a pretty high number too. That's one of those lines. If you look at per capita students that go here or other places per capita, how high we are listed for folks that will be able to get a PhD. I think it's 14th in the nation or something, isn't it? Something like that. So it's
14th, I think 14th overall between public and private universities. And if you're just talking public universities, then we are number 1 overall.
Yep. See, so I mean, when you add just public, yeah, I mean, you work it and you realize that the basis for what you're getting here is very, very good. So,
and if I remember correctly, I think the next closest public one to us was like number 43 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it is a really.
So we really jumped there.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Hillary, I saw you a square on your screen. I think you're going to say something. So.
Oh, I think it's I'm getting a lot of chats from my office. I don't think they know we're doing this, or they don't remember. So they're trying to shoot us chats and hang out.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. That's how we communicate in this virtual world, since we're not all together.
Well, yeah, and I think that we've had to make a really big pivot to the virtual, and that for us over against other institutions, I think is a could-do, in the sense that there's a number of institutions that just could not figure out how they're going to pull that off, but Tech did, and we're very scientifically oriented, as you can imagine, and so we were very much up on how we had to do it. We were educated as well if we weren't sure, and that again was pretty much a group experience. So.
Yes, and it's not going to go anywhere. So like I said, we're going to continue to do our live virtual campus tours for students that can't make it, or for out-of-state students, so they can check out the campus and see what's available. And when it's nice and green out, hopefully in like a month or 2, they can see how beautiful it is.
Well, I tell you that the water is on now, and you noticed that too, I'm sure. But the start of the week, the sprinkler systems were coming up for the grass, and I look at the athletic field, and it's looking pretty good. It's starting to get really green, and of course the golf course is well maintained. It's pretty good golf course, I have a feeling. And the gym, I'm just thinking of things that are amenities here. They just put a new rock climbing wall in, and they redid their gym. They used this COVID time to invest in the facility. And so there's a number of things here that are improved due to COVID-19 restrictions at certain places and at certain times, and they're updated. So I know for us in the OSL right now, we are primarily doing on a one-on-one type of a tutoring system virtually, but we also have a group room that we start to use on a Discord channel, and some of the students that are coming here already know more about Discord than the 3 of us as we're talking. But as we move into more and more availability that I know for the library, it was a destination spot. You come over here and do your homework, and if it got to a point where you had an issue, if you're close by where the tutors were, you could just check in. See, so it has that type of feel to it. I think this school. So Hillary, tell me, 10 years ago, did you figure you'd be talking admissions to everybody here? Were you already working in admissions? What were you doing?
I was actually in college. So I was born
Shame on me.
I
Okay.
was born and raised in Socorro. So actually, no, I was not in college. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm aging myself, but I was
And
born
we're
and
not
raised in
asking, so
Socorro.
go ahead.
But no, I did not think I would have this job right now. But it's really nice because my parents do live in Socorro. So when I have to come actually work on campus or any big events, I just go home. But this opportunity kind of came about, and I am in the Albuquerque location. So I'm not located in Socorro, but we do have an office off of 10th and Harris that Jered and I work out of.
Yep.
So we're there, but we're on campus quite often, especially.
I was going to say, we see you
of,
down here, so
Mhm.
it's not like that doesn't happen, but you're at that, what I would call affiliate or station area campus up that way. So that works. Yeah. And Jered, as you're looking at your biology degree and everything, what are you thinking about, even as you're doing this admissions work?
So the plan originally going into this was just so I was there, the Office of Admissions student worker for my last 2.5 years.
You were doomed, weren't you? Okay.
And so I started there, and then I graduated, and they never let me leave.
That's it. Okay.
But yeah,
what's the one thing you like about tech most, like a tech activity?
And activity wise,
yeah. And add pre-COVID times so you can have some choices beyond just things we do right now.
Yeah, as a student when I was there, I would say definitely the comedy nights were always a lot of fun that they'd do for the students. Those couple of times a year when they'd have the comedians come through and do those. Those were a lot of fun. And then something that's kind of more a day-to-day thing, I actually did always really have a lot of fun going and just kind of hanging out at the game room. I was part of the billiards club and everything, so it was always nice if I had an hour to kill between classes or something. When I was living off campus, if I didn't want to go home and have to come back, just go in there, play some pool.
Have a chance to just hang loose.
Yeah, just kind of unwind a little bit. And but yeah, those would probably be my top two favorite activities from when I was a student.
Just let you be. Okay, now Hillary, what are some of your favorite tech activities?
So I love the golf course, as you can see in my
well,
background.
yes, I was going to say you're in love with the golf course.
I'm definitely an avid golfer. I've played all over the state. I've played out of state, but New Mexico Tech is definitely one of my favorite golf courses. It's fun and it's also really challenging. So definitely love that. Also big time of year that's pretty fun. I usually miss it most of the time because I'm out recruiting in Denver. But 49ers weekend is always a big fun event that all the stuff is going on and just kind of fun for staff, faculty, students, get to meet other alumni. So that's a really fun event. That's
and 49ers, of course, with a bunch of minors, that's our mascot here, and also our history. I mean, it makes perfect sense we'd be the 49ers, for a big activity in the fall. And a lot of people, I think, enjoy that, whether it's a parade or something else happening with special activities. The President's Golf Tournament's somewhere around in there, isn't it?
Yes, the President's Golf Tournament is usually at the end of September. So usually the third week of September. That's a great event. That's really fun. I participated in it every year if I'm in town. So that's always great. And it's also great because that benefits scholarships. So that's a big scholarship fundraiser. So
Talk about that a little bit. I think you know it well enough that you can do that. Talk about that.
yeah, so I think I know a little bit about it, but I could be
Oh,
wrong.
you know
some of
more
it.
than you think.
But usually I believe all of that money that is raised during that golf tournament is scholarships for 5th-year seniors.
Yep.
So students where their financial aid may run out or merit-based scholarship runs out, they can apply for that scholarship and get some funding to get their 5th year paid for.
And that's a real big
took
thing.
advantage of that as well when I took advantage of that when I was a student. I had that one extra semester that I needed to finish my degree, and I applied for that scholarship and was able to get it. So that definitely helped me out a lot.
I think some people get, I mean, we have probably about 25% that graduate in 4 years or something like that, off top of my head. But we have a really good graduation rate if you're still thinking about it, into a 6-year category. And some people do that due to whatever financial issues they might have had, or maybe they were waiting on a class, or maybe they switched majors. Okay, things like that happen. But there's a lot of support for that continuance in the program to get to graduation. And like you said, Hillary and Jered, you appreciated it personally. That money really does assist with a 5th-year senior. It's very, very important. So, let's see. What else should we ask? I'm going to go to Sarah and Sophie and Katie again, see if they got a question. And because otherwise I'll just keep asking questions for this whole time, and I might not get good ones. So, you guys got something there? Katie, Sarah, Sophie, anything you've thought of? Don't be afraid.
I can add a little bit on our application process too. So
why don't you do that?
Students. So if you are a senior, you can definitely apply right now. But if you are a junior, the application is also open for those students. Like I said, we do require a official transcript and ACT or SAT scores. I know schools are offering the ACT and SAT in Albuquerque starting in April.
So that's opening back up.
Yes, it's not mandatory, and they do have caps on it. So if you hear about it, I would definitely register if you're interested. And they're taking a bunch of COVID protocols, so it's going to be safe. And that's what we require. The scholarship the application for admission is also the scholarship application. So once we get
double purpose.
Once we get all of your official documents, we send that over to the financial aid office, and then they award scholarships. Cool thing about New Mexico Tech is if you qualify for a scholarship, but your GPA bumps up or your test score bumps up, and it bumps you up to a higher scholarship, you just send in that information and we will give you whatever scholarship you qualify for.
So as you improve, maybe this helps you.
Yes. And scholarship deadline is March 1st. So you have plenty of time to take the ACT, SAT, or even retake if you need to. So I believe we are the only school that has a March 1st deadline. Usually other universities in New Mexico, theirs is December 1st. So definitely give students a little bit more leeway for that to get the best score that they possibly can.
Well, and other than just the STEM things that we do, which we do well, there are other activities like Jered was talking about, with different activities that he was a part of. But I'm thinking if Steve Simpson were here, our Dean of Arts and Sciences, he also follows a lot of stuff when it comes to theater, when it comes to music, when it comes to arts. Jered, did you take any fine arts classes when you were here or anything like that? Or did you ever get a chance to pick some of those up?
I didn't get a chance to ever do any of like the fine arts courses or anything. I, of course, did all my humanities and social sciences. Those were kind of the ones that I mostly stuck with to kind of give myself that break from all of the math and science.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm thinking also within humanities courses and things like that, we have Excuse me. Oh, I had a sneeze. Yeah, it's terrible. I was trying to beat that one off and I just couldn't do it. We have things like tech communication, for example. Uh, and that certainly still takes a lot of the science side, but it is that communication. Excuse me, golly, you got me going. The communication side that is also a science degree is really what it is, but there's a lot of openings for people in that. There's a lot of programs that enhance STEM at this place. I think sometimes people, when they're thinking about that, they're going, well, I could do this or this. Well, there could be communication, there could be management of places that do science. There could be business, and not everybody just clicks all the time with like the fact that psychiatry or psychology is here, and that there are wonderful research programs as well with that. So, yeah. So if you had to tell us one last thing that you wanted to really make sure that you told everybody, what would it be? Okay. Jered, I'll let you go first. How's that? What's something you really want to tell students or prospective students as they come here?
I guess the most important thing I always talk about and make sure I mention when I'm talking to students, and I kind of mentioned it already previously, but definitely the sense of community I get at Tech is a lot different from any other schools that I visited when I was looking for making my choice where I was going to go to school at my senior year of high school and all of that. It's really just kind of everyone knows everyone kind of place. Being the small town, small school, you see the same people around all the time. I remember as a student being out in town, being at Smith's when that was open, or being at Walmart, being at the restaurants, and seeing some of the staff members from around campus, seeing professors, and being able to just stop and talk to them, just being out and about outside of the classroom, outside of being on campus. Everyone's always extremely friendly, and then being the collaborative school as well with the research, everyone's always really highly encouraged to get study groups going, do group work, all that kind of stuff. Just really, it's a great sense of community, but you really can't experience that without actually being able to visit either. And so now that we are being able to offer those campus visits again,
it's going to make a real big difference.
That's always been one of the big things that I always highly encourage students. And whether or not, it's Tech or, whatever other schools, I always tell them, make sure you go out, visit campuses, because you're really not going to know if it's the right place until you step on campus and kind of get that feeling for things. Because I was someone who had plans to go somewhere else and was kind of dead set. And then someone talked me into showing up to an open house, and I stepped on the campus, and after that day I left and I was sold on Tech. So definitely make sure you visit if you can, so you can really get a sense for the community here at New Mexico Tech.
One of the places I think that people can also jump into here, like I said, freshmen are oftentimes starting to do research. And that's coming up in April 14th, 15th, 16th is the Student Research Symposium. And the big theme there is learning by doing, as well as communicate to educate. We really work at those types of processes where people can learn how to communicate with a general audience. And the professors are big on that. Other TAs and the OSL and the career fair folks, they're all big on making sure we have a way to well-round anyone who comes here with the ability to function at a high level, and even communicate with a generally educated audience that's not even in their field, and make sure it's clear. I just think that whole process is also a community builder for a lot of people, because they learn those processes. Hillary, tell me something that you really want to tell everybody. How's that?
Right.
This is your chance
So
Go ahead.
Jered did the pre-techie. Yes, I do highly recommend to visit to make sure it's a good fit.
Right.
But when you become a techie,
Right.
I highly recommend to ask for help.
Yep.
Everyone at New Mexico Tech wants you to succeed. So if you have to come to the admissions office to ask for help, or if we can't help you, we will point you in the right way. Definitely take advantage of tutoring, OSL, study groups, help rooms. Definitely take advantage of all of that. It's free to you. You pay for it and your tuition and fees, you might as well utilize it. My second thing is to get involved at New Mexico Tech, whether it's in a professional club or some type of fun club. You are going to be doing lots of homework, lots of research, studying, but you definitely want to take a break from all of that and enjoy your college career. So go out there, meet new people, get involved, and have fun.
You know, and I'm thinking about if you're athletic, they've got a rugby program here for both men and women, and they both are great programs. It's not just something where you're doing it intramurally, but they're playing other universities in this sport. And I found that to be really pretty cool, because it's not necessarily what you immediately think, let's say, for what sports would be here, but that's one of them. And of course, the rock climbing club, the biking club, they've got a hiking club, they got a running club. The one that probably isn't necessarily the most exciting for some people to begin with, but they get to learn to love it, is the Tea Club, believe it or not, TEA, the Tea Club, where they being a bunch of scientific types, they're all analyzing every tea that you're going to have and how you make it and everything else. And actually, I found that to be just a wonderful group of people, just because nobody's there trying to have their little finger up or whatever when they're drinking tea. What they're trying to do is just enjoy something, and really that is the experience. I think at Tech, it's that even if it's physics, you're enjoying it. If it's biology, you're enjoying it. If it's chemistry, you're enjoying it. Believe it or not, if it's math, you can enjoy it. Okay, it's that type of an attitude that I think when Jered talks about the community side, it's that is what you're experiencing. You are being invited to enjoy, and you're becoming, let's say, a companion in inquiry with a bunch of other people. And it's not that pecking order type of thing you might remember from high school, so to speak, or if, as a high school student, where you sense that with others. This is a fairly, I think, equal playing field type of campus where everybody comes in here and all of a sudden it's a whole new world. And hopefully it's one that you would want to be a part of. Okay. Our Sarah person's going away. Katie or Sophie, if you got anything, here's your chance. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap us up.
This was great. Thank you.
Okay. So
yeah, thank you. I learned a lot, so it was really good to hear.
Okay. Well, again, we want to thank Hillary and Jered for being here. I'm sure he's sick and tired of this line. I haven't used it the whole time, but I'm sure he knows what's coming. You can go to Jered, okay? You went to Jered, all right? Here you go. The whole sense that that's possible. You go to Hillary or others. You can come to me or people in the OSL or whatever. We just do want you not only to come, but to succeed and to enjoy this experience. So thank you, Hillary. Thank you, Jered. And we're going to shut ourselves down for this Tech Spotlight, and it'll be up, like I say, on YouTube and in Peer Mentor channels and other places where you can get a chance to take a look at as part of our admissions team and why we're so high on New Mexico Tech in Socorro. Thank you all. Okay.